So this is the AUDL final.
Sean Hamm and Jordan Marcy. The 2015 AUDL Championship game.
Do you remember?
So yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at these catches. I mean, I've talked to you about this before, but every catch feeds the sense of urgency that exists everywhere in the game. So now he's double teamed. Like the throw never goes back to the wide open receiver. Finally, it does there at a 4 count. This guy just caught the disc upfield, and again, he just turned around. He had 4 people wide open behind him, and he immediately pivoted downfield. God, this doesn't look very good when they zoom in. I mean, I want them to zoom in, but this isn't. This is like trying to watch hockey zoomed in.
You can't see any kind of field, so you can't really see what's going on at all when they do that.
Yeah.
Could have rushed it to Ham, but Graffy was in the area, so he wisely.
Oh, lefty.
Yeah.
There, I have to say, I like a lot of the.
So double team's allowed, isn't it?
Double teams allowed. In fact, double team in AUDL proves what a ridiculous rule it is in Ultimate. These guys, they just shred it, and go ahead and double team me, I'll kill you. But look at how they're trapping themselves here. They're not taking the. You see, an easy person right behind him. It's almost as if everything they do when they catch the disc is completely opposite of where there's a wide open person. It's almost like somewhere they're intentionally saying, I want this to be harder than it needs to be. So I'm going to, like they want the challenge of, I mean, it makes no sense. I don't understand why players do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So is it the fact they're pivoting like towards the defenders and away from their free players that you're
it's very confrontational. It's like they assume that the only way to actually be successful is to go right up against the defense. There's a psychological thing. If you ever go to the circus, you can see elephants, and elephants are tied onto a chain, and the chain is attached to this little hook in the ground that the elephant could easily pull itself out of, right? But it doesn't, because when it was a baby, the chain was much bigger, and the hook in the ground was much bigger, and they learned when they were little elephants that they can't get out of this thing by pulling away from it. It's like Ultimate players. They don't understand that there's a much easier way, that they're capable of doing this, so they're just stuck. So look where he catches it. He's got that guy wide open behind him, and he confronts the defense. Catches the disc, confronts the defense. It's nutty. It's like, what are you doing?
I think there's a lot of focus on yardage. I think the focus is on yardage because I don't think teams maybe trust themselves
Look
to
at that guy wide open
possession like for long amounts of time. So
no, I understand that. Oh my God, this is professional.
It's the final.
No, I'm going to talk some smack here. That's ridiculous. This is the World Championships and these guys are
the guy rolling around.
Mediocre.
That's totally overshot. That was just had to put a bit more touch on that, or like any touch.
Well, no, that's not a. You shouldn't be. When you get your system running, you're never going to throw that throw. You would never throw a throw.
That should have been an easy throw for a score.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
It means he scored a point. That's the point of the game.
No, I understand that, but like there's this thing people will always say, well, it worked. Well, what is that? What do you mean it worked?
Yeah, it worked, but like people say that when it's like
you can throw a ridiculous 80-yard
without any kind of
hammer
question.
and somebody can catch it and it'll quote unquote work, but that doesn't.
That's quite a nice D.
Well, it was a foul.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a nice attempt.
The way the rules were written, and you're obviously this. You make a point here when you said yardage is a big deal. To give a 10-yard penalty for a foul like that is insane. It's ridiculous. Yardage when you learn this offense, yardage means nothing. So it's not a penalty. That's a travel right there, and another travel, and a turnover.
Yeah, you're talking
You
about.
watch it. You watch a lot of.
When you learn this offense, you're talking about your motion offense, right?
It's not my motion offense. When you learn how to play an offense that's non-confrontational.
Right.
Cohen airs one out.
Yeah. Okay. Mexicans.
I mean, there's another foul. That's a foul.
Could not get there.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell whether he contacted him.
Well, you got to understand.
It's close call.
I've written this article. I hope Ultiworld writes it. It's actually a 2-part article because I interviewed Irv Kalb, and it's important to understand the spirit of why were the rules the way they were. You know, they weren't arbitrary, but when you start to change rules or start to go professional and you want to make a professional league, why are the rules the way they were? That's a foul right there.
Yeah,
there should be a penalty.
Yeah.
But you take a game that's been played for 40 years with a certain. That's a travel.
Well, the double team immediately allowed them to just break through and give go to open up the field.
Like I said, the double teams never was a very good rule. Never made any sense. But, and some of the answers Irv Kalb gave me why the rules the way they are, they're really bizarre. Like my new expression this week is ultimate frisbee is the platypus of sports. If you look at the actual why the rules are the way they are, that's a travel.
And that will be a foul.
I think he's trying to throw.
Wait, how is that a foul?
I think he was trying to throw through the foul.
How was that a foul?
I'm not sure.
That's not a foul. This is part of the insanity. There's no understanding of why the rules are the way they are. They've just tried to codify. They've tried to put.
Up high, and it's knocked away.
It's so random. That was so random. Like just tossing it up into the air. I don't know whether he was expecting to be fouled when he threw that, but it just seems completely random.
That was a turnover. There was no way that was a foul.
Wow. We're nearly
The reason. So I asked Irv. I said, "Why is it illegal to not? Why is it illegal to hit the disc while it's in the thrower's hand? And why do you think that is? What's your guess? Why is that illegal?"
I mean, what do you mean? Do you mean like if you were allowed to hit it out of their hand?
Yeah, in disc hoops, it's legal to knock the disc out of the thrower's hands. It actually almost eliminates.
Well, I guess it's just kind of it's part of the game, you know. I guess the
no. But there's a reason when you
that.
make rules. There's reasons. See, you've sort of just bought into it. Well, that's what's the game. The way the game is. Oh, that was a lefty.
To an extent.
Why are the rules the way they are? There's a reason for all of them. I know, I asked her, why did you do this? Why did you do that? I said, why are jump passes illegal? He said, what are you talking about? They're not illegal. Jump passes are supposed to be legal in Ultimate.
Well, the travels if you jump.
Huh?
Is that
well,
really
they never. It sort of evolved into that, but there was never any. When they made the rules, there was never any documentation that said, "Here's the spirit of the rule. We made the rule because." Now the reason
they're doing a side stack here, and this is where I think defense is lacking, because there's many ways that you could defend against that, like one isolated cutter just being in a massive huge open space, but the defenders don't work together, and you're just left with a one-on-one situation. A side stack, as soon as players are near each other, especially when they're near the sideline, you should be able to use teamwork with the defense to punish that, and surround them.
Look how infrequently they go to the non. So let me put it this way. There's two kinds of throws and there's two kinds of catches. There are contested throws and uncontested throws. That was an uncontested throw right there. But the uncontested throws normally are what they call dumps. They're outlets. They're not. They're like a fourth, fifth choice in a play.
Yeah, they literally.
So everything they do is a contested throw. He's contesting. Watch this. He's going to contest. It's nutty. The percentage of contested throws versus uncontested throws, that's a foul.
Yes, but if play had stopped for that, then
that doesn't. No. Forget. Look, let's be objective and think you've never seen this game before. The guy just got hammered. there needs to be a penalty. Unfortunately, the game's not set up to really provide a meaningful penalty. You know what I'm saying? Like in basketball, you get a free throw. I mean, it's worth it to get fouled. There's no value in getting fouled. That's a foul.
Yeah, but what would the penalty be? Because they
why do you have
immediately.
Why do you have fouls? You have fouls as a deterrent because you don't want people hurting each other. Look at this guy; he gets hammered. That should be a red card.
No, the guy changed his angle slightly just before the catch.
I understand, but there has to be some sense of what are we going to accept as acceptable contact and what's too physical.
Yeah, I don't think that was overly physical. I don't think it was dangerous. I think there was a chance that he had committed early to making that step.
So he made a mistake.
Jump.
There should be a penalty. There's nothing right now that deters players from overcommitting.
The penalty was that he ended up on the floor and unable to stop the guy from passing into the end zone.
Look, Felix, when you the whole, let's just start, the offense that I personally run is predicated on balance and timing. And so you can completely take me out of my game with those fouls.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shouldn't be happening. And it's totally unfair. Nobody knows that because nobody else has that kind of game. Look at this. Let's just pivot away from the guy who threw it to me.
Okay. Let's so I think let's not talk too much about how the rules should be different.
Why not?
Because the rules are like the way that they are. This is the game that people are playing, and the rules have changed slightly for AUDL, but this is the game that people are playing.
For anybody who's the untrained observer, whether this is AUDL or MLU or USAU, it all looks identical. There's people on the sidelines with what looks like referee outfits. The way the game is being played, which is the most important thing, is equally stupid no matter which game you're watching.
Yeah, the style of the offense and the defense they are largely the same across the world.
Right, and it's been my contention for 12 years now, or much longer, but 12 since I've really been into this, that the rules there's a reason why the game is being played this way, and it has to do with the rules. Wow, that's a travel. He traveled.
He's lucky he didn't get killed if he attacked.
He's lucky he didn't get killed, but the point is the defense made him travel. Anyway.
Okay, so they had good spacing of their players and stuff. I quite liked that.
We could go through the Flyers game with Madison, because they had, and maybe they'll have it more in here. I suspect, and I even told Denardis this, that I think that see, that's travel right there. You can't just say, well, it's not travel because the guy fouled him. The throw was a bad throw. The throw caused the travel to happen.
Surely, if you catch, once you caught the disc, if you slow down as quick as possible, that's not a travel, right? So any disc that you're catching, then it's possible not to travel, right? It's not like a bad. How could a bad throw cause a travel?
I'm really impressed this weekend with Tom Annan.
Because the defender
he caught the disc and he accelerated to get away from the defender.
Right.
So he had to do that. He would have gotten clobbered if he didn't travel, but he traveled.
Didn't he accelerate just before catching the disc?
I don't. And what I observed was that he did it.
Two bodies comes down with a disc. Sanchez is open. The first big time.
The deceleration. So you're a big proponent of decelerating into catches, aren't you?
It's superior.
I've started. I've been doing that, and it is great. Like the balance, and as soon as you have the disc, you turn around and you see your mark coming onto you, then you immediately have the upper hand, because not only can you pivot
Great
to
pressure. They had two guys
you
in
know
the
use
area.
their momentum against them. But if you're able to pass the disc at the same time, then you can actually, you know, make a move completely away from them.
Well,
And then
this is
once you've done that once or twice, then they're always on the back foot, and you're able to kind of
right.
keep
It's
that
like
going.
it's like compound interest. Like you
Maintain
you accelerate, you get enough separation, and when you start doing it, you know how much separation you have. So you can give half that separation back and decelerate, knowing you're totally safe. And because you're decelerating, they're going to run past you, so then you run a misdirection play or a counter play. And and you can just keep doing that all day long. You know, you decelerate, they try to commit and get the defense.
That was the guy was behind him when he threw it. What's the stall count in AUDL?
Jesus, 7.
Okay, that makes sense. So that was a high stall then.
Yeah.
But
But 7's a huge stall count. I mean, Golty's 5. But these people, the style, I know. That's ridiculous. Like, yeah, nice throw.
they had so their
I-
offense there just quickly. I think one of the reasons it got to 7 was their offense was a side stack again, or it was a stack that was a long way away from the thrower. So by the time anyone had actually made a cut, tried to shake off their man, that takes 2 or 3 seconds, and then they only look like 1 or 2 of those kind of options, and each of them takes 2 or 3 seconds, and then that means then after 2 options they then have to jack it to the end zone on 50-50.
Well, but if they had not confronted the defense when he caught the disc, the stall count would have never gotten above 1. I mean, I have the stats on C-Boys. I'd like to keep. There's a couple really great stats I like. One of them is ATP, average time of possession, and it should be less than 1,000 milliseconds. You know, 1 second is all your average should be. So these guys are 2,500, 3,000 milliseconds. And if you have the intention of just 1,000 milliseconds, you're not going to be looking upfield when you pitch this. I know. That should not be. It shouldn't be that close. The other stat that I really like a lot is assisted turnover.
Yeah, that's when you throw to somebody who then turns over.
Right, and it's really
throws the turnover.
It makes it incumbent on you to make sure that when you're the thrower, you're putting your teammate in the best position to succeed. If you get him trapped on the sideline, you can be throwing 100% for a tournament. But if you have 50 ATOs because you're not smart about who or where you're throwing to, that's pretty meaningful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think those stats are. He might have hit his head when he landed.
You know, this is really killing me. The stadium wasn't there when I lived there, but this is a few miles where I lived for 30 years. So the fact that they're playing in the stadium and basically my old stomping ground is a little unnerving.
I think those stats are good, like the average time of possession, but I think in order to get that to under a second,
Yeah.
the entire offense had to change. The entire way people.
But it's a mindset. If you go to your team and say, you know, have you ever seen Moneyball?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. The thing in Moneyball was we want
it's
base.
the side stack again. Okay. Yeah, the Moneyball's all about the stats.
Base runners.
Well,
we want a specific. We just want base runners. We don't care about anything else. On base percentage is all we care about. And if you have this thing with your team and say our average time of possession is all we care about, like right there, he could have thrown back to the guy who threw it to him.
Yeah, it's a value thing as well. They don't. Mm-hmm. So the value that all these players have is not on.
It's way off.
Passing the disc. It's definitely different. I don't agree with it. You don't agree with it, but. Well,
I want to know what
that's the place that they're approaching the game.
What is it that they value?
They value yards. You know,
they value yardage
and field position. You know, they don't want to pass towards the line unless they have to, and they want to pass it forwards. Yeah, So they want to pass it forwards down the middle of the field in order to
So,
maximise the
so
scoring
the,
opportunities.
the end of those last 3 throws, that's what ultimate should look like. Why is this chick talking? She has nothing. Adds nothing. In fact, but if you watch this, this is what ultimate should look like. And by the time it does, it gets really boring. Like that's what ultimate looks like when it's played properly.
Until the defense stops
No.
playing.
Like you said, when the more you're able to exercise these values, which is possession based, don't confront the defense. Keep a low stall count. Make sure you're putting your teammates in a position where they're not going to get trapped. You change the value system. The defense, you're just going to have a huge advantage of the defense. They might try to adjust it. I think I know that referee.
The offense will always have an advantage over the defense, but all of your ideas are. I mean, I'm not taking away from them, but they are formed in a world where the defense has been very, like, zone or man kind of thing, and people haven't done different kind of hybrid. Well, they have from time to time, but generally the way the defense is taught and played is very simple, and because it hasn't had to, there hasn't been the need for defense to advance and to progress, because offense is,
I'm not. I wouldn't agree with that. I mean, I played the entire '90s, and that might seem like a long time ago, and people would say, "Oh, the game's changed now," but that's not true. But he had a wide open knife right there. Hit that guy. No, he's wide open. I mean, I'm not a big fan of knives or anything. That guy's wide open in the center of the end zone.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, we had teams constantly. Jeez.
So fast.
No, and the pivot he did at the start there was nutty.
First quarter winding down, and Sanchez, did he get in?
Really?
The referees say he did.
He didn't. No, he didn't.
It looked like he towed it in.
His toes came off the ground.
Okay.
But that rule is goofy to me. How can you score it without? I mean, it just looks weird.
Yeah, so defenses have thrown all kinds of different things.
They've made look. My experience has been defenses continue to try to adjust. See his feet.
No. It definitely his right toe. Even if he was in the air, his right toe hits the ground first after he catches it.
I think it was.
Too.
Yeah, that should have been a goal.
Defenses have made a lot of adjustments, and when they do, it just gets easier. I can't. I mean, you just have to experience it, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had my own experiences. I do think there's a lot of room for improvement, both on defense and offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I play matchup zone almost exclusively. But when do you play a normal zone? So the best D against the offense is see his right
toe came down after he caught it. If he was in the
put it in super slow motion. It certainly wasn't a very pretty score for the championship of a professional sports league.
So Bo Kittredge is on. I seem to remember you don't rate him as a player. Is that right?
Bo Kittredge is...
Okay, there must be some kind of weird time thing going on. They got a massive group of them.
Yeah, there was 1 second.
Okay, right. Didn't see that.
Bo is not a very good handler. He's quick. He's not a phenomenal defender. He's quick and tall. But, I know a lot of players that are... I mean, certainly he's not someone I would build a team around. Let's put it that way. If I had to draft, if there was a professional draft, I wouldn't start the team around Bo Kittredge. Not by a long shot.
I rate him. I think that he's got very good throws. I think he's worked a lot on his throws. He's in the Southern Death quarterfinal against Clapham at World Clubs recently. Revolver Clapham. He got the disc and pivoted backwards and out and threw a round break flick huck to the corner of the end zone for the score. Without hesitation,
Yeah, but again, I mean, what we were talking about. You were saying, okay, what's how do defenses adjust and all this stuff. And when you start to change your value system on offense, and you realize yardage is irrelevant, and you start to do things differently, defenses make adjustments, and then you make adjustments to the defense's adjustments, etc. The stuff that you're talking about with Kittredge pivoting and hucking, no, defenses aren't going to adjust to that. It's not something that's necessarily making his teammates better. That's pretty silly right there. When a player catches the disc and walks back the line, actually that was, it's like, where else in sports do you see that? It's pretty nutty. You know what I'm saying?
Well, kind of, but it's. I think it's a different game.
Well, it's travel. He took 15 steps by the time he had a pivot foot again. He went into the end zone, then he came out the end zone. He took 12 to 15 steps total. If you just count the number of steps, it's like, wait, that's.
Yeah, but he's not allowed.
No. So what should
allowed to take him inside the end zone. I don't know. Like, you can argue forever that the rules should be changed, but if you change the rules, it's a different game. People argue that AUDL is a different game to like traditional Ultimate because
they can argue all they want. The Ultimate, in every every organization or governing body, the rules need to be overhauled. They were never thought out well in the first place, and if you understood why is double teaming illegal? It was never. It was.
I think picks are. I think picks should be legal.
I'm going to take this call. Hit pause real quick.
Yeah, well, let's call it a day. That's the first quarter or whatever, so I can.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do it in the. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Cheers, Frank. See you later.